Welcome to the Rex Andrews Show. Excited to have you with us today. Thank you for tuning in. We're always excited to have new listeners and then our loyal listeners who tune in on a regular basis. Don't forget to subscribe, whatever platform you're on, so you can get the latest and greatest updates. We are out there on 23 different podcast platform distributions worldwide and on YouTube and social media. So thank you for tuning in. We're excited to always have our listeners, but one thing I ask you to do is visit the show website at rexandrewsshow.com. The reason for this is you get updates on our guests, information about their bios and links to their sites. So if you find something interesting and want to follow along, please go there. In addition to that, we have our blog and all kinds of fun updates. So it's worth stopping by the website for the show, rexandrewsshow.com. All right, today, a little bit of a topical. I don't really get into too many current events, but this is a rant that drives me bananas. Yesterday, March 22nd, we had a shooting just up the road here from us in Boulder at a local grocery store. You've probably seen this on the news. It's a King Soopers, and there were 10 people killed, including a police officer. So a first responder coming to the scene to defuse the situation with the shooting, and he's killed. Enough is enough. And I don't talk about weapons because that's not the issue. Weapons are just the tools that people kill with. I don't care if it's a handgun, a rifle, a semi-automatic rifle, or if it's a knife or a bat. It doesn't matter. People, when they snap, people with mental health issues, when they snap, are going to kill other people. The root cause of this is mental health. It's a topic that's near and dear to me, because if you've listened to my show, there's a couple of times I do mention that I'm bipolar, okay? 20 years ago, I was diagnosed as bipolar 2 hypomania ADD. Based on the DSM now, they call me bipolar undefined. But if you saw me walking down the street, you wouldn't know. If you met me in a professional meeting or social setting, you wouldn't know. Now, I'm not the type of person who has the depressive or excessive behavior issues with my bipolar. I don't go off the edge and want to kill people or have situations where I'm so depressed that I can't function. My bipolar is basically, I have a hot brain and it runs all the time and energy. But what we're talking about here when we see these mass shootings and millions of shootings around the world when they happen is when people have mental health issues and they snap. Nobody in their right mind, if they didn't have a mental health issue, walks into a grocery store and murders 9 other people and then kills an officer that shows up. This drives me bananas. We are ignoring the elephant in the room. It's not about weapons. It's about mental health. And it's crazy. Let me give you some statistics, okay? Because people who commit crimes and are incarcerated, it's bananas because a high percentage of them have serious mental health issues. The men population in prison, incarcerated, 68.3% of them have serious mental health issues. It's even worse for women because women are not the type of people who are generally violent, okay? 74% of women incarcerated have serious mental health issues. The impact is enormous. In the United States, when you look at the entire correctional system, prisons, everything included from the county jails up, we're talking a little over 2.3 million people are incarcerated. And the cost of that is over $600 billion a year. Let that sink in. $600 billion a year. That's almost as much money on an annual basis that was given out in the recent stimulus package to actually people to fight the COVID-19 recovery. This drives me bananas because we do not face this issue. Unfortunately, people who don't like guns will now be chirping about, oh, it's time to get rid of guns. Well, people have been killing people since people have been on the planet. That's just a fact of life. But when we have such a high percentage of those who are involved in violence and murder, being with mental illness, that's the root problem. We've got to do something about it. It would be an enormous step to convert the money that's spent on nearly 2/3 of the prison population to fix their mental health issues. It's absolutely bananas. It's absolutely bananas. And I get frustrated because I watch the news, and when I see these unmentionable, ununderstandable, uncomprehendable acts, we need to do something about it, because normal people don't walk into a grocery store and purposely shoot 9 other people and then kill a cop. And so it's just terrible. I don't have a solution for this. I don't. But I do think what needs to happen is professionals, we need to flip the money that's spent in this, and we need to have professionals starting in grade school, evaluating people who might be high risk, and then developing programs to help them manage this. And it's not just taking meds, it's an entire comprehensive approach that people need to look at: diet, exercise, medications, because in most cases they're needed, and then all of the contributing things like sleep, social interactions, so people get the care that they need. If we were to do this on a preventive basis, it would wipe out nearly 3/4, let's just say 70% on a general average, but that's nearly 3/4 of the $600 billion would be wiped out. Think how many lawyers we could put out of business. So it's an important topic. We really, as a society, need to face this. We need to decide to make the decisions to invest in mental health. It's so important. I really just, my heart goes out to the innocent victims who were killed or are killed around the world. My heart also goes out, and I have compassion for those who are committing these crimes because they didn't get proper care. They've flown under the radar. It has stigmas to it. They're considered outcasts. And that's not the case. There are a lot of great people, all the way from Winston Churchill and Abraham Lincoln and all kinds of people who suffered from depression, had mental health issues. And it's time for us to basically get our hands around brain health. Brain chemistry is as unique as your fingerprints, and we need to help those people who have brain health issues to help them rewire their synapses and actually get the help that they need so we can stop this. Now, it's not a pandemic, and that's an overused word, but it is a serious problem. If we have 70% of our incarcerated people here in the United States with mental health problems, we need to get on this. Many, many lives are destroyed on both sides, both the victims and the perpetrators. So I'm heartbroken this morning. My feelings go out, and condolences for those who were killed and their families, innocent victims. And I also, without giving any applause or adulation of the shooter, I have compassion for him too, because obviously he slipped through the cracks and doesn't have and hasn't had the proper care for his brain health to help him avoid such a horrible, horrible tragedy. So I would call to you, the listeners, to call out, and let's start facing this issue. We've got to fix mental health here in the United States. It is the biggest issue that we face from a general population because it impacts so many people. They say now that up to 20% of the general population, so that would be 60 million people in the United States, have some sort of mental health issues, from just depression all the way up to schizophrenia. So it's a serious issue. And if we look at the number of people who would die in the pandemic, where 550,000, getting close to 600,000 people die from the pandemic. Well, how about the 60 million people who are impacted on a daily basis with mental health? It's just crazy. So that's all I got to say about that today. I appreciate you listening to my rant and expressing my feelings on this issue. I just ask people to call to action. So until next time, thank you for tuning in. Don't forget to visit the show website, rexandrewshow.com. Follow the blogs, follow the episodes, and just remember, there are too many interests for just one lifetime. And around the corner is always a new discovery. So until next time, just have the three things I say every time: be safe, be bold, and make it a great day.